God is about to bless you in front of ones who betrayed you. They thought it was over for you. They thought walking away, betraying your trust and tearing you down would bury you. But what they didn't know, what they couldn't see, was that while they were plotting, God was preparing. While they were stabbing you in the back, God was setting the stage. You see, betrayal doesn't cancel your destiny. It activates it. It doesn't stop your purpose. It accelerates it. And now, the same ones who doubted you, the same ones who whispered behind your back, are about to watch God bless you right in front of them. This isn't just a comeback, it's divine elevation. And when God lifts you, no one can pull you down. Betrayal was the setup for the blessing. Sometimes life doesn't break you with a loud crash. It breaks you in silence, through betrayal that cuts deeper than any blade. You never expected it from them. Not from the ones you laughed with, not from the ones you cried with, not from the ones you would have defended even in their darkest hour. But betrayal doesn't come from strangers. It comes from those closest to your heart. And when it hits, it doesn't just shake your trust in people. It shakes your trust in yourself, in your path, in the God who said he had a plan for you. But here's the truth. Betrayal wasn't the end of your story. It was the beginning of a greater chapter. It was never meant to destroy you. It was meant to redirect you. The moment they turned their back on you, heaven turned its face toward you. Because when people leave you, that's when God steps in. That betrayal, it was the setup for the blessing you never saw coming. You see, too often we confuse loss with punishment, but God uses subtraction as preparation. He will allow certain people to walk away so he can clear the space for his real purpose in your life. And yes, it hurts. You don't cry over someone you didn't love. You don't feel betrayed by someone you didn't trust. But the very pain they caused was used by God to wake something up inside you. Maybe it made you pray harder. Maybe it made you dig deeper. Maybe it made you realize you were depending more on people than on purpose. Whatever it was, that betrayal did not break you. It birthed you. It pushed you into a place where you finally stopped begging for validation and started standing in your value. You stopped chasing the crowd and started following the calling. The betrayal made you better, not bitter. When Judas betrayed Jesus with a kiss, it wasn't a surprise to God. It was a part of the process. That betrayal didn't stop Jesus from reaching his destiny. It helped fulfill it. And the same is true for you. What they did to you didn't stop your destiny. It started it. They thought they were burying you, but they were planting you. And when you plant something that's rooted in God, it doesn't stay buried. It grows slowly, silently, but steadily. And when it rises stronger, taller, and more fruitful than ever before. What was meant to destroy you is about to be the very thing that elevates you from difficulty to dilemma to apps to defeat. Now you're starting to see things differently. Now you're not begging to sit at tables where you were once the meal. Now you've stopped apologizing for your glow just because it made someone else insecure. You've learned to walk away in silence rather than stay where your spirit is suffocating. And that strength, that clarity, that peace, you didn't find that in the good times. You found it in the betrayal, in the pain, in the rejection, because that was where you met God in a new way. That was where your prayer life deepened. That was where your discernment sharpened. And that was where your purpose was born. The blessing didn't begin when they left. It began when you survived. They thought removing themselves would stop your shine, but all it did was remove the noise so you could hear God clearer. They thought their absence would be your downfall, but it became your deliverance. You started dreaming again, believing again, healing for real this time, not pretending to be okay, but actually becoming whole. And when you look back, you'll realize you didn't lose anything. You were released from everything that couldn't go where God is taking you. The betrayal had to happen, or you would have stayed stuck in a version of yourself that was smaller than the calling on your life. You may not see it yet, but soon everything is going to make sense. The pieces are going to fall into place, and you'll see the hand of God in every chapter, even the ones that broke your heart. Because blessings don't always come wrapped in comfort. Sometimes they come wrapped in confusion, in chaos, in loss. But no blessing is ever wasted when it's from God. He doesn't allow pain unless purpose is on the other side of it. So hold on, stay grounded, stay faithful. The very thing that broke you is about to bless you. The very ones who tried to ruin your name are about to witness God raise your name. And hear this clearly, God is not going to bless you in private. No, He's going to do it publicly, because when He restores in full view of those who tried to destroy, not for revenge, not for pride, but for testimony, so they can see that it was never about you proving yourself. It was about God proving His promise. And when that blessing comes, and it will, you won't have to say a word. Your peace will speak, your elevation will speak, your glow will speak. The fruit of your endurance will speak louder than any accusation they ever made against you. So if you've been betrayed, misunderstood, rejected, don't get discouraged. Don't give up. You are not forgotten. You are being positioned. You are being prepared. What God is about to do in your life will not just restore what you lost, it will exceed it. He's not just bringing you back, He's bringing you forward. And when He does, the very ones who turn their backs will have no choice but to watch. Not out of celebration, but out of revelation. So they'll see that you were chosen even when you were overlooked. Protected even when they plotted. Blessed even when they betrayed. Betrayal may have been their action, but blessing will be God's response. Silent seasons prepare loud victories. There's something powerful about the silence of God, something that tests your faith, stretches your patience, and exposes your heart. It's in those silent seasons where it feels like your prayers are hitting the ceiling, your efforts are unnoticed, and your soul is screaming for answers, that God is doing His greatest work. You don't see it, you don't feel it, and you sure don't understand it. But He's working. Not in the noise, not in the spotlight, but in the quiet places where only He can move. Because before God reveals the blessing, He builds the vessel. And that building happens in silence. You cried out for answers and got nothing. You showed up in faith and saw no reward. But God wasn't ignoring you. He was preparing you. The silence wasn't rejection, it was refinement. You had to be still so He could shape you without distraction. Because before He blesses you in public, He strengthens you in private. You see, the loud victories that shake the world are forged in silent battles no one sees. People want the reward, but they don't want the refining. They want the platform, but not the pruning. But you can't carry a public anointing with a private weakness. That's why God pulls you into silence, so He can deal with what's beneath the surface. The insecurity, the pride, the fear, the need to be seen. He'll take you through seasons where it feels like everyone forgot you, where opportunities dry up, where friends disappear, where doors slam in your face, not to punish you, but to purify you. He'll silence the noise around you so you can finally hear His whisper, because it's not about being noticed by man, it's about being approved by God. And that approval doesn't come through applause. It comes through obedience in the dark. Let them talk. Let them doubt. Let them assume your silence means failure, because while they're watching your absence, God is writing your arrival. You're not behind. You're not losing. You're not forgotten. You're hidden on purpose. Hidden like David tending sheep before he faced Goliath. Hidden like Joseph in prison before he ruled Egypt. Hidden like Jesus in the wilderness before his ministry began. Silence doesn't mean delay. It means development. God is stretching your character to match your calling. He's building endurance in the places where you used to break. He's teaching you to lean on Him when the crowd isn't clapping and the world isn't watching. That's where the real strength is born, not on stages, but in solitude. And while you're wondering, God, where are you? He's whispering, I'm right here, building you for what you can't yet see. You're asking for the blessing, but He's making sure you can carry it without breaking under the weight. Because what's coming is big, bigger than your name, your plans, your pain. And it's going to require maturity, discipline, and humility. That's why the silence is so loud, because the preparation is so deep. He's stripping away everything you thought you needed, everyone you thought would stay, and everything you thought defined your worth. Because when you rise, it won't be because of who was with you, it'll be because of who was in you. God is going to get the glory, not the crowd. So don't despise this quiet season. Embrace it. Let it teach you. Let it humble you. Let it cleanse you. Because when God moves, it won't be subtle. He's going to shift things so suddenly, so loudly, so undeniably, that even your enemies will have to say, that had to be God. The same people who dismissed you will witness your elevation. The same ones who counted you out will have to count the blessings on your life. The same crowd that saw you struggle in silence will watch you walk in favor, unapologetically. And they won't understand it. They'll wonder how you went from overlooked to overblessed. But they didn't see the nights you cried yourself to sleep. They didn't see the days you showed up when you had every reason to give up. They didn't see the prayers, the fasts, the obedience, the discipline. They saw silence, but God saw sacrifice. And now He's about to reward you openly. There's a table being prepared in front of those who walked away, not out of vengeance, but out of testimony. So when they ask, how did you survive? You'll say, it was God. When they wonder how you made it through the betrayal, the heartbreak, the rejection, the isolation, you'll point to the silence. That was where the breakthrough began. That was where the oil started flowing. That was where you learned that you're not sustained by applause, you're sustained by the anointing. And that anointing didn't come cheap. It came through fire, through pressure, through nights when you wanted to quit. But you didn't. You stayed faithful in the famine. You trusted in the drought. You believed when it didn't make sense. And now it's harvest time. So if you're in a silent season right now, don't rush it. Don't curse it. Don't try to escape it. Let God finish what He started in you. Because when the silence breaks, it's not going to be a whisper. It's going to be a roar. Doors are going to open that no man can shut. Blessings are going to chase you down. Favor is going to cover you like a shield. And the beauty of it all, you won't even have to explain yourself. Your life will speak. Your fruit will speak. Your peace will speak. The ones who mocked your silence will marvel at your elevation. This is not the end. This is the in-between, the cocoon before the wings, the stretching before the soaring. And yes, it's hard. Yes, it's lonely, but it's worth it. Because God never leaves you in the wilderness without a promised land on the other side. He's building something in you that can't be shaken. And when it's ready, He'll make sure the world knows. So rest, stay faithful, stay grounded, stay humble. Because the silence won't last forever. And when God finally speaks, every lie, every loss, every betrayal will be drowned out by the sound of your victory. Your pain had a purpose. Pain is a language heaven speaks fluently. It's the fire that purifies, the weight that strengthens, the wound that reveals the warrior. You didn't ask for the pain, but it came anyway, uninvited, unrelenting, and unexplainable. It hit you when you least expected it. People you trusted turned on you. Dreams you prayed for fell apart. Love you gave so freely was discarded like it never mattered. And for a moment, maybe for a long season, you questioned everything. You questioned your worth, your faith, your future, and maybe even your God. But hear this clearly. Your pain was not wasted. Every tear, every heartbreak, every silent scream in the dark had a divine assignment. What hurt you was also shaping you. What broke you was also building you. Your pain had a purpose. It was the path to your power. You didn't go through all that for nothing. God doesn't waste wounds. He doesn't allow storms unless he intends to use the rain to grow something greater in you. That trauma you survived, it taught you how to stand on your own. That heartbreak, it showed you who you are without the crutches. That betrayal, it opened your eyes to truth you refused to see when you were comfortable. Pain shakes the foundation of everything fake, everything fragile, everything temporary. And when the shaking stops, what remains is the real you, the version that's refined, not defined by suffering. The version of you who no longer needs the approval of those who abandoned you. The version who no longer lowers your voice just to keep the peace in rooms that were never built to honor your presence. The version who walks with scars, but also walks with wisdom. You didn't get stronger by accident. That strength you carry, the resilience, the depth, the discernment, it didn't come from easy days. It came from war, from nights you thought would kill you, but only uncovered what couldn't be broken in you. It came from facing demons, some within yourself, some wearing the faces of people you once loved, and deciding that you were worth fighting for. That's the purpose of pain, not to destroy you, but to wake you up. It's life's most honest teacher. It shows you who's real, who's loyal, and most importantly, who you really are when the masks fall off and the crowd disappears. God allowed the pain, not because he didn't love you, but because he loved you too much to leave you in a life beneath your calling. He saw something greater in you. He saw the leader, the healer, the voice, the light. And sometimes that kind of power only emerges through pressure. That's why you were crushed, not to be discarded, but to produce oil. That's why you were pressed, not to be punished, but to prepare you for a platform your old self couldn't handle. You had to lose what was hurting you, even if you thought you needed it. You had to be emptied so God could fill you with something real, something eternal. Because what's coming next in your life can't be built on pain that hasn't been processed. And you've processed it. You've survived it. You've grown through it. Now look at you, still standing, still breathing, still moving forward even with the limp. That limp, it's your testimony. That scar, it's your reminder. You're not weak for hurting. You're strong because you healed. You didn't cover it up. You didn't run from it. You sat with it. You prayed through it. You bled truth and came out with grace. The pain didn't poison you. It purified you. And now you don't just have a story. You have an anointing. You have wisdom. You have empathy. You have a fire in your belly and a peace in your spirit that can't be manufactured in comfort. So stop apologizing for your past. Stop hiding your scars. Stop pretending you were never broken. Your power isn't in perfection. It's in the fact that you survived what was meant to destroy you. It's in the fact that even when you were bleeding, you still chose to believe. Even when you were empty, you still chose to give. Even when you were alone, you still chose to walk with God. That's what makes you dangerous to the enemy. Not your talent, not your charm, not your looks, but your endurance. You don't fold under pressure. You don't quit when it gets hard. You don't abandon purpose just because the pain is heavy. That's why hell tried to break you. That's why betrayal came. That's why they targeted you. Because something inside you refused to die. And that something, that fire, is what God is going to use to bless not just you, but everyone connected to you. You may not understand the full picture yet, but one day you'll look back and thank God for the pain. Not because you enjoyed it, but because it gave birth to everything real in your life. It taught you discernment. It showed you who your real friends are. It brought you closer to your Creator. It humbled you. It made you grateful for peace. And most of all, it qualified you for purpose. You didn't get here by accident. You were forged in fire. And now you carry an authority that only comes from surviving the storm. So if you're still in the pain, hold on. Don't run from it. Grow through it. There is purpose in it. There is transformation in it. And when it's all said and done, you won't just be healed, you'll be elevated. You won't just be free, you'll be empowered. You won't just be restored, you'll be reborn. Your pain had a purpose, and its name is destiny. The same crowd that watched you fall will watch you rise. They saw you stumble, they saw you break, they watched in silence, some even in secret satisfaction, as your life unraveled in front of them. The same crowd that once clapped for you turned cold. The ones who smiled in your face suddenly vanished when you needed them most. They didn't offer help, didn't lend a hand. They watched. They watched as you went through loss, heartbreak, betrayal, and defeat. They whispered, they laughed, they judged. They assumed that was the end of your story. But what they didn't realize is that you serve a God who specializes in comebacks. A God who doesn't just restore but elevates. A God who allows the fall to be seen just so he can make the rise undeniable. And make no mistake, your rise is coming. You may not see it yet. You may still be in the rebuilding phase, but what God is about to do in your life will leave no room for doubt. Because the same crowd that watched you fall, they're going to witness you rise. This fall you experienced, it wasn't your failure, it was your formation. It stripped you of pride, removed the wrong people, taught you what strength really means. While they were watching your pain, God was watching your posture. You didn't fold, you didn't run, you didn't fake perfection. You took the hit, but you kept walking. You lost things you thought you'd never survive without, but you kept believing. You believed, you cried, but you kept standing. And that kind of strength doesn't go unnoticed in heaven. That kind of resilience catches God's attention because he's not looking for perfect vessels, he's looking for faithful ones. People who stay the course even when the crowd walks away. People who praise in private long before the public sees the promise. That's why your story isn't over. That's why the chapter they laughed at isn't the final one. God is writing something in your life that will speak for itself. You won't need to explain how you made it, why you didn't quit, or how you came out better instead of bitter. Your fruit will speak. Your growth will speak. Your peace will speak. The doors God is about to open will speak so loudly that the same mouths that once gossiped will be silenced. He's preparing a table, not in secret, but in the presence of your enemies. That means the ones who walked away will have to watch you feast. The ones who doubted your calling will see you operate in power. The ones who thought you were done will watch as God sets you up for everything they said you'd never have. And this time, it won't be because of connections or manipulation or striving. It'll be because of favor, divine favor that no one can stop. You see, man can block opportunities, but he can't block destiny. They can withhold support, but they can't withhold what God has already spoken over your life. What he ordained in secret is about to be revealed in public, and when he lifts you, it will be clear to everyone. It wasn't luck, it was the Lord. Because God is strategic, he lets certain people see you at your lowest, so that when he elevates you, they'll know it was all him. Not so you can boast, but so he can be glorified. The same crowd that watched you fall needs to see you rise, not because you need their validation, but because God wants your life to be the evidence that he restores, that he heals, that he uses broken people to do beautiful things. You are the testimony someone else needs to see. You're the proof that no matter how bad it gets, grace can reach deeper. That no matter how far you fall, mercy can lift you higher. So don't be afraid of the spotlight that's coming. Don't shrink back when God starts to showcase what he's been building in you behind the scenes. You've been hidden, but not forgotten. You've been in preparation, not punishment. And when the time is right, he will bring you out, not to impress people, but to impact lives. There's a boldness coming on you, a strength you didn't know you had, a vision that's clearer, a confidence that doesn't need applause to stand tall. And all of it is rooted in the pain you overcame, the battles you survived, and the faith you refused to let go of. That's why this rise will be different. It's not about proving anyone wrong. It's about proving God right. It's about showing that what he starts, he finishes. What he promises, he performs. Your rise is not revenge, it's revelation. It's purpose in motion. And it's coming whether they believe in you or not. So let them watch, let them wonder, let them replay the past all they want. You're not who you were. That fall developed you. It humbled you. It made you wiser, stronger, deeper. You're not going back to who you used to be, and you're not begging for seats at tables that never respected you. You've outgrown the version of yourself that needed validation. Now you walk with authority, not arrogance, with peace, not pettiness, and that's the beauty of the rise. It doesn't just elevate your position, it transforms your perspective. So don't hide your journey. Don't be ashamed of the process. Own it. Every failure, every tear, every time you had to encourage yourself when no one else would. Own it. Because it was all necessary, necessary for the fire, necessary for the oil, necessary for the call. And now that the rise is here, walk in it boldly, walk in it with gratitude, walk in it knowing that God didn't just restore what you lost, he increased it. That's the kind of blessing that's coming, not just enough to survive, but more than enough to thrive. The same crowd that watched you fall will watch you rise, and this time, it'll be undeniable. Not because you fought your way to the top, but because God carried you there. Not because you stepped on people to climb, but because you stayed faithful when it would have been easier to give up. This rise is holy. This victory is pure. This success is built on surrender, not striving. And when the world sees it, they'll have no choice but to say, only God could have done that. And you'll smile, not out of pride, but out of peace, because you'll know the truth. They saw the fall, but God planned the rise. Vengeance is God's, but the victory is yours. There comes a moment in life when you have to decide, do you fight your battles in the flesh, or do you surrender them to God? Because when people hurt you, betray you, lie on your name, and try to sabotage your peace, the human instinct is to strike back, to get even, to show them you're not someone to play with. But that's not the path of power. That's the trap of pride. You see, when you waste energy trying to get revenge, you slow down your own progress. God never called you to be petty. He called you to walk in purpose. He never told you to clap back. He told you to hold your peace. Why? Because vengeance belongs to Him. And when God says it's His, He means it. You don't have to lift a finger to fight people who were never in control of your destiny in the first place. Let them talk, let them plot, let them doubt, because while they're trying to tear you down, God is preparing to lift you up, and when He gives the victory, it won't be quiet. It'll be so loud that even your enemies will have to sit and watch. What they did to you wasn't right. The pain they caused was real. You trusted them, and they used that trust against you. You showed them love, and they repaid it with betrayal. That kind of hurt doesn't just fade away. It lingers. It echoes. It carves itself into your memory. And if you're not careful, it will turn your heart bitter, cold, and full of vengeance. But bitterness is a prison, and revenge is a poison. It might feel good in the moment, but it keeps you chained to the very people who wounded you. And that's exactly what the enemy wants, to distract you from your purpose by trapping you in pain. But God says, let it go, not because they deserve forgiveness, but because you deserve freedom. You deserve peace. You deserve the kind of victory that only comes when you stop trying to get even and start trusting God to handle what you can. There's a difference between justice and revenge. Justice is God's hand making things right in His perfect timing. Revenge is your hand trying to take control in your brokenness. One heals, the other harms. One restores your soul, the other corrupts your spirit. And that's why God doesn't need your help punishing the people who wronged you. He saw the betrayal. He heard the lies. He knows the truth, and He's not ignoring it. He's documenting it. Every tear, every sleepless night, every moment you were silent when you could have defended yourself, God saw it all. And He's not going to let it slide. But here's the twist. His justice doesn't look like your revenge. While you were imagining their downfall, God was planning your elevation. While you were trying to prove your point, God was preparing your platform. Because the best revenge isn't payback, it's peace. It's success. It's favor that can't be faked and blessings that can't be blocked. You don't have to prove anything to anyone. When God is your defender, you don't need validation. You don't need to explain your side. You don't need to expose their lies. Just keep walking, keep serving, keep growing. Let your life speak for itself, because what's coming to you is so much greater than what they tried to take from you. They thought they buried you, but God was planting you. They thought they ended your story, but God was just turning the page. And now He's writing a new chapter, one where the pain didn't go to waste, one where the betrayal becomes the background to your breakthrough, one where the same ones who tried to break you will have to watch you walk in blessings they can't touch. And don't be surprised when they come back, not to apologize, but to witness, not to make things right, but to figure out how you kept going. Your peace will confuse them. Your glow will disturb them, because you weren't supposed to survive what they put you through. You weren't supposed to thrive after they walked away. But here you are, stronger, wiser, softer in spirit, but sharper in discernment. And that's because you let God handle what was too heavy for your hands. You chose grace over grudges. You chose purpose over payback. And in doing so, you positioned yourself for a kind of victory that only heaven can deliver. You see, when God fights for you, He fights thoroughly. He doesn't just restore what you've lost, He multiplies it. He doesn't just vindicate you, He elevates you. And he does it in such a way that the only explanation is him. That's why the victory will be yours, not because you manipulated your way to the top, but because you stayed obedient when your flesh wanted to act out. You stayed humble when you had every right to be bitter. You stayed quiet when you had every reason to scream. That kind of self-control is rare. That kind of discipline is divine. And it is the very thing that is unlocking doors, calling down favor, and making a way for you in places you were once rejected. So if you're still carrying the weight of what they did, let it go. Not for them, for you. You can't rise while clinging to resentment. You can't walk in destiny while dragging around disappointment. Give it to God. Let Him deal with them. Let Him expose what's hidden. Let Him reverse what they meant for evil. Because while you're focused on revenge, you're looking back. But your blessing is ahead. Your assignment is ahead. Your healing, your purpose, your joy, it's all waiting for you to release what's behind so you can embrace what's next. And when that victory comes, it won't just be a win, it'll be a witness. A declaration to everyone who ever doubted you, disrespected you, or disregarded your heart that God doesn't forget His children. He may be silent, but He is never still. He may wait, but He never withholds what is good for those who trust Him. So walk forward, head high, shoulders back, not in pride, but in confidence, because you know who your defender is. You know who holds your justice, and you know that the victory that's coming isn't revenge, it's restoration. It's redemption. It's a crown placed gently on the head of the one who chose faith over fury. Vengeance is God's, but the victory, that's yours.